Hello. So full disclosure, this week's video was originally going to be another chapter from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Like, I recorded it, I started editing and everything, but that game's really depressing. Like, it's really depressing, not even in like a fun and sexy way. It's kind of a downer, which like makes sense. The source material is a real downer, so it makes sense that the game would be, sad. And real life at the moment is kind of depressing. There's a lot of stuff going on, nationwide and internationally that's a real bummer. And the idea of putting out a video that was so depressing, I don't know. I wouldn't want to watch a video like that right now. So instead, we're going to play a game that's a bit more lighthearted. Because I know that I could certainly use a distraction from things right now, something lighthearted and fun. I'm sure you all could as well. So instead, today we're playing this game that I found on Steam for free, so you can, play it for no charge. It is called Cateau, and I believe that it's like a story-based game, which I love those kinds of games. And I think that you just like go around Paris talking to stray cats. And I loved that as a concept for a game. When I saw that, I was like, that's great. That cracks me up. So today we will be playing Cateau. That's cute. Lemon Curd Games. Shout out Lemon Curd Games. I'm excited to play this. New game. Name. Let's put my real name. We're gonna put Emily. Paris is truly a sight to behold. I can't get used to it, even having lived here for most of my life. The scene, I'm sure I mispronounced that, I'm sorry. I took French for 20 weeks and I can't pronounce words. Anyways, it's a river, parting the city in two, the smell of baked goods in the morning, and the buildings filled with history. Even so, living here alone could maybe be a bit mundane, but I don't have to. I share an apartment with my old friend Roselle, who studies veterinary medicine of some sort. I don't get to spend much time with her, as my job's working the evening shift at a small newspaper. Speaking of which, I ought to let her know that I'll be heading to the office for the night in a bit. I knock on her door, waiting a few seconds before entering. Oh, this is another game that doesn't have any voiceovers. So much like with Grimm's Hollow, we get to hear my lovely voice acting. Hey, bro, how are you doing? I'm all right, Emily. And you? All good. Just wanted to let you know I'll be leaving for work in a few. Ask about school, ask about today. I'll ask how her day went. So, what have you been up to? Not much. School? Yeah. Worked from home. Okay. Ask if she wants to go somewhere this weekend. Ask if I can help clean up her room. That's rude. A little bit. I don't know. Like, it's different if you're like sharing a room, but if it's their own space and there's a door, then whatever, it can be messy. You know what? It's really nice outside, and we haven't gone out for a coffee together. We should totally do so this weekend when we're both free. Well, it has been a while. You want to. Some fresh air will feel nice. Maybe. I might have to study, so no promises. She glances at the clock above the door behind me. Shouldn't you be going soon? You'd wind up late and not too long, right? I'm good on time actually, but it might be time to break it off. You might be right. I'm off then. I'll pass by the baker's too. Is there anything you'd like? No, I'm good. All right then, see you. I leave her to her own and head for the door. Is it tacky? Is that a window or is that a print? Because like if you have a window that shows the Eiffel Tower in Paris, like you're paying some good money for rent. If you just have a print of the Eiffel Tower in your house, like I don't know, because I'm not from Paris, like is that tacky? I mean, is it the equivalent of like if someone from Seattle had like a print of the Space Needle in their apartment, or like someone from New York City had like the Empire State Building on like a print in their house? I don't know. Before leaving, I pat my pockets, realizing that I'm forgetting something. Ro, have you seen my keys? The ones with the cork? Have you looked in the kitchen? I check and find them on the countertop. I always forget to check there. Good thing she still keeps tabs on me, even if things are different now. Thanks, bye. Different, like, did we break up? Were we dating? Or like, did we just like have a falling out as friends? Man, how lucky am I to have a view like this going to work? I think to myself as my feet patter against the rounded stones of the old towpath. In the shade by the wall, I spot a cat looking every bit as scruffy as the water looks serene. Oh, he does look scruffy. Oh, Roselle'd love this if she were here. She always used to chase after cats, patiently gaining their trust and befriend them like some kind of cat whisperer. That's the dream, just having stray cats hang out with you. Whenever successful, which was almost always, she memorialized the occasion by having a picture taken, like a big game hunter of old posing with her quarry. Oh, like a big game hunter of old posing with her quarry. I'm clearly bad at reading out loud. That's what these games have taught us. I kind of miss that side of her. Maybe a picture of my own would remind her of the good old days? The thought stops me in my tracks and I study the cat in question. It's just sitting there, gazing over the water as if saying, yep, I rule this place. That's just how cats are. Which, in fairness, it probably did by the look of things. Looking at the time, I notice that I have plenty of it. I could at least try to get her a picture. What could possibly go wrong after all, but how should I approach? Sneak up on the cat, let it know you're there, and close in carefully. You shouldn't sneak up on cats, they'll be startled. Better take it slow here. Slow and steady wins the race, and after all, I'm not the sorceress cat whisperer Roselle. I would hate to spook it now, for what was clearly even to me a favorite spot of theirs. Oh, from what? The words are on the screen, you can tell when I misread. Anyways, not that this cat looks particularly skittish, it has a very, proud bearing. Hello there, kitty. I speak softly while closing the distance. When I'm nearly a few meters away, it gives me a casual glance out of the corner of its eyes. I get the idea and stop. Satisfied with my response, it resumes watching over the water. Look, he's like smiling now. I could easily just take a picture of the cat's back and call it a day, but my professional pride berates me for even considering such a notion. It may not be the cuddliest cat in the world, but I will get a good photo one way or another. Wait for the right moment, toss rock, close the distance. Gotta wait for the right moment. You gotta be patient with cats. The cat seems to rather enjoy the view of the water. Ever so slowly, I walk up to the edge, maintaining respectful distance to the cat and sitting down with my legs crossed. The late summer's evening sun shrouding the city in a pink glow, not even the faintest breeze disrupting the mirror-like surface of the water. I glance at the cat. It's basking in the sun with closed eyes, savoring the warmth. The moment is here. With careful, deliberate movements, I fish my phone out of my pocket and lean in for a picture. The picture perfectly captures the serenity of the scene. Not wishing to disturb the cat any longer, I get up and walk away. Aww. Cute. The reply comes through so fast, it feels like I got it before I even sent the message. That's a gorgeous photo. The cat looks like a stray. How did you manage to get so close? Tell me. I just took my time with it. I took a page from your book. Gotta learn from the best. Haha, best? Wouldn't go that far, but thanks. Did it take long to get to that point? Not really. It didn't seem to mind me being in the vicinity as long as it could keep track of me, and I did nothing hasty. Strays are often kinda chill if you don't bother them. Be careful though, they can be unpredictable. Kinda got that vibe, yeah, I will be. Almost forgot. Thanks for the picture. I think I'll make that my new home screen on my phone. Good chat, Ro, but I need to hurry up now. Lost more time than I thought here. Haha. Go. It's giving me the option to choose to go to work, and that's the only option. The illusion of choice, baby. Oh, it's a little cat clock. I wanted one of those cat clocks with the swinging tail, like, so bad when I was a kid. Now I guess I'm technically an adult and I could just buy one on the internet if I wanted. I haven't yet. Maybe that should be my next adult purchase, is one of those swinging tail cat clocks. Okay, work went by as usual and it was over in no time. Dawn is lurking around the corner as I'm heading for the bakery. All the little shops are closed, but the bakers are already at their battle stations, churning out their goods for the breakfast rush in the coming days. Thanks to having friends in high places, also known as the owner, I'm allowed to sneak in through the back door and get my grubby hands on bread early. That's the dream, being able to just like own entrance into a bakery, get the baked goods. Roselle said she didn't want any, but I'll get her some just in case she changes her mind. Spoken like a true friend. You always gotta get something, even if they say no. Besides, you can never have too much bread. As I leave the bakery with my precious baked goodness, I notice a cardboard box next to the door, which apparently is the residence of a charmingly fat cat sleeping inside. Clearly, it's being cared for to some extent, as the floor is draped with a cozy-looking blanket and somebody's made it a little roof to keep the rain out. Is it a new tenant on the street, or am I selectively blind and it's always been here? I can't recall. Looking around, the nearby area is strangely littered with glass jars, too. Inspired by the success of the earlier cat encounter, I decide to add to win further glory by attaining a second triumphant moment, one to make Roselle the cat whisperer proud. I drop my bag and crouch down next to the sleeping cat, or what I thought was a sleeping cat. It opens an eye and looks down at me lazily. Pet head, wait. I'm gonna wait. This kitty doesn't know me. Alright, cat, make your move, I say with the exaggerated voice of a movie gunslinger, waiting to let the cat take the first action, not wishing to pressure it in any way. In a shocking display of Herculean effort, the cat opens a second eye and looks at me with steady gaze. Show me the cat. Show me the cat on the screen. I want to see the boy. I can't help but feel like it's trying to assess me. Playing along for a quiet laugh to myself, I strike a pose, showing my good side. Well, if such a thing exists. A few seconds pass before it gets up, lacking any semblance of urgency. It jumps down with the grace of a drunken baboon, landing on its feet, seemingly more by blind luck than any skill on its part. That's how my cats back home are. Like, they will jump up on furniture or the counter where they're not supposed to be. And then when they jump down, like, it is the furthest thing from graceful. Like, you can hear the, like, ba-dum of their bodies hitting the ground. Like, they're just not graceful. I love them to death, but... It comes over to me, rubbing up against my legs with a quiet purr. Well, aren't you a friendly little thing? Giving it a few pats along the back before I go, I start to make my way home to that bed which I'm now longing for. At least, that was the theory. A very persistent furry friend demands more attention, constantly getting in my way, protesting my attempts to leave very efficiently indeed. Show us the cat. Show me the boy. I can't deny that it's a very charming thing. As it is, I can't really get a good shot of the cat. It's either at a bad angle or too close to the camera. I need to gain some space. Try the selfie camera, stand up, push the cat away. Try the selfie camera. Maybe I don't need to create distance. I fumble with my pocket as I continue petting the cat with the other hand. In the position I'm sitting, it's difficult to get it out of my pocket and a struggle for a moment. Finally, I prevail against these insurmountable odds, place the camera in front of us, and snap a bunch of photos, hoping that at least one wouldn't be a blurry mess of a disaster. I go through them quickly, and there is one close-up picture of the cat's face that didn't end up looking like the photo was taken from inside a tumble dryer. It will have to make do. A few more cuddles later, I manage to extricate myself from the situation and start off in the direction of home. Aw, there's the boy! Look at him! That looks like a cat you would find in a bakery, you know what I mean? While perhaps not the best interaction on my part, this picture turned out kind of great. Wow, how did you manage to take this one? After many trials and tribulations, I managed to nab it in the end. That and approximately 42,372 others that turned out rubbish, but that's beside the point. Ha, I bet. Did you get along well? Kind of. Not bad, not great. I don't think I was trying... Oh, not bad, not great, I don't think. I was thinking of trying to feed it? That could work. Just don't give it raw fish or something that could make it sick. Don't worry, I won't. What a day. Keychain rattling in my hand, I unlock the door, shutting it behind me. Dumping the bag on the floor by the wall and trudging on over to the kitchen for a bite to eat before bed. I trundle past Rose's door, shut as always. Just a faint blue light leaking through the door frame. She must be on the laptop again. How bright is your screen that she can see the light from under the door? Like, your brightness must be up all the way. Finally arriving at the counter, I have myself a few pieces of fresh loaf before dragging myself into the living room into the TV. Flopping into the couch, I watch whatever happens to be on, lazily munching away. There's a documentary on about life on the African savannah. It'd be just her thing. After a few minutes of deliberation, I get up, going over to Rose's room and gently knock on the door. Hey, Ro, you up? Yeah, Emily, what is it? Ask her to come watch TV, just check. Just check, I'm just seeing what you're doing. Can I come in? Oh, that's not what I assumed she was just gonna be like, hey, you doing all right? All right, so we're going in. As suspected, she's not even in bed. I didn't have anything in particular to say, just wanted to see if you were up. You should catch some more regular sleep, Ro. Silence. I know. You're sweet to care, but I know. Anytime, Ro. Try to get at least some sleep tonight. Good night. Good night, Emily. With that, I take my leave, retiring to the sofa to finish up my meal. And then once again, we get that illusion of choice, and it's time to go to sleep. Another cat clock. Never having been one for sitting around, come afternoon, I treat myself to a walk. Some might think that walking is a bit of a peculiar treat, but in a city like Paris, it really is. There's always something beautiful to see, something exciting to discover. I've been walking around this city virtually every day for years, and it still never bores me. On the contrary, it helps dislodge writer's block and distract me from other woes. One of the streets and spots I always come back to, though, is this old little street passing by the small park. The trees happen to make for a great spot to just get away from the sun on a hot day, an added bonus. Suddenly, I spot an orange fuzz in the periphery, and I instinctively know it's a cat. It's funny, the things that you notice once you're actively looking for them. I'm always actively looking for cats. I think everyone should always be actively looking for stray cats. Well, it's either that or I've been afflicted with cat-engineered nanomachines altering my perception, which in all honesty is a touch unlikely. The boy! Show us the cat! Rather than a fully grown cat, this one's a mere kitten playing with the leaves beneath a tree. Playtime is disrupted, however, when a pedestrian tramples by, startling the little creature. This isn't a stray, he has a collar. After having taken cover by the trees for a while, it tentatively returns to its game, soon blissfully distracted. I'd love to join in, but I don't want to frighten it again either. Sneak closer. I'm gonna let him know I'm here. Oh no, he didn't like that! Considering how that person storming by scared the poor little thing, I should probably let it know I'm approaching beforehand so that I don't scare it again. I walk closer, carefully with slow, deliberate movements, quietly calling out to it. Going pss, 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 pss. You know, like you do to cats. Hey little friend, don't be afraid. Turns out, kittens don't do too well on the whole hearing comprehension front, and it curls up into a small nervous bundle. Don't be scared, I'm a friend. This cat doesn't speak English, he probably only speaks cat and like maybe French because we're in Paris. I stopped for a while, giving it some time to realize that I wasn't going to stampede by or do it any harm. Clearly anxious due to my presence, I need to do something to break the ice. I'm gonna tell it about my day, because I think if I try to pet him, he will run. See, he liked that. Maybe I can get across my friendliness through casual conversation? Bonjour, les chats. Comment ça va? I go on to tell the kitten about my day, the cat by the canal, my night shift at work, and about the other cat by the cafe. So we're just going like, hey, don't be worried, I have other cat friends. While facing in the general direction of the cat, I don't look directly at it, trying to communicate that I'm no threat to it. I cast a quick glance at it, and the kitten is watching me carefully, but seems less withdrawn, more curious. Try to pet the kitten. We're gonna play with a stick. Everyone loves sticks. Well, it's obviously a rather playful sort. Maybe that helped me befriend it. The tree beside us has kindly enough dropped a twig on the ground that looks like it could double as a cat toy. Anything can double as a cat toy, as anyone that has a cat will tell you. Literally anything can be a cat toy. Picking it up, I give it a try, drawing a figure of 8 in the air. But I've never played with a cat. Sure, it can't be too complicated, but how I should go about it is still a question that needs answering. Avoid sudden movements, large swaying motions. I think when I play with my cats, I do rapid movements so that they chase it. Oh, he didn't like that! I put the tip of the twig to the ground, flitting it about with sudden changes in directions. This seems to grab the kitten's attention, but it doesn't play. It follows the twig with its eyes, perhaps waiting for it to come closer. With a flick of my wrist, I send the twig darting toward the cat. However, this dauntless and bold charge breaks the kitten's morale, causing it to back away from its position with a meek meow. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Evidently, this wasn't the best idea I've ever had, so I moved the twig away. While I don't manage to get the kitten to play, it settles back down again, watching the movements. Not wishing to repeat that mistake again, I slowly shift to gentler movements while at the same time extracting my phone from my pocket and taking a picture. A few more moments pass before I put the twig down and take my leave, thinking that while this whole episode probably didn't sit too well, I might be able to make amends. That cat is looking at me like, who are you? You have encroached on my tree. Begone, stranger. Good thing I know just the person to ask for advice. While sending Ro the picture, I take the opportunity to do just that, relaying my actions. You need to be more careful with the poor little cutie. Don't do things that can be perceived as aggressive. Like what? You kidding? You flailed a stick in its face. Be slow and gentle. Give it time. When you put it that way, it does sound terrible. Didn't mean to yell. Just be a bit more thoughtful next time and it should be good. No stick flailing. Got it. Seriously though, I will be. I'll be home soon. Okay, did I make amends with the cat and they just didn't show it? That character development happened off screen. When I get home, I enter Rose's room. I just wanted to let you know I'll be visiting the bakery lunchtime tomorrow. I need to grab a cake for Rico from work's birthday. If you want to come along, I'm sure the cat will be there. I think I'd rather stay here. They say it's going to be very hot out tomorrow. But if you do see it, you know the rule, right? Right. When you see a cat for a second time, you must name it. Is that a rule? Is that a thing? I guess it's a thing. I'll head out again and go to work soon. Good luck. When down by the canal, I keep an eye out for the scruffy cat, but I don't run into it again. Guess I'll go to work. Work turns out like usual, pretty uneventful. Cat clock. It's the cat clock. After some well-deserved sleep, I head out to grab that cake. To be honest, I'm more excited at the chance of seeing that cat again than to celebrate my coworker. Coworkers are fleeting, stray cats are forever. I should get the cat something. It looks like one that would appreciate something edible. I take a quick detour to a grocery store and I quickly find myself in the small pet aisle. I have no idea what the cat likes, and the picture of the jars littered around its bed popped into my mind. Maybe they had contained something it liked, but I can't quite remember what label it had. What should I buy? Normal cat treats, olive, shrimp. Well, the only one of those that comes in a jar is olives. I've never met a cat that eats olives. We feed our cats like cat treats sometimes. Cole, the chunkier, bless his heart, of our cats, will sometimes like steal people food, or we'll give him people food. He likes shrimp. We gave him a shrimp once. I think I have a video of it. I'll put it up above if I can find it. But the only one of these things that comes in a jar is olives, so I'm gonna get olives for the cat. Oh, and that worked! It had kind of looked like an olive jar. No, it had been an olive jar, but it feels like a very weird thing to give a cat. On the other hand, Ro likes them, and she's approximately half cat, so maybe, okay. I find a jar of sliced green olives. They feel like a suitable size. As a backup, I buy a small package of cat treats as well. Wouldn't hurt my chances. When I reach the bakery, I find the cat resting in its makeshift bed. Good afternoon, kitty. The cat raises its head and lets out a heavy, drawn-out yawn, exposing a line of long teeth. Why won't they show me him? Put the boy right here. I want to see his little face. It blinks slowly at me as I reach out with my hand to pet its head. Roselle sends her regards. What is that? Is that in Game of Thrones where they're like, the Lannisters send their regards?
The Lannisters send their regards.
She has sent me here with the intentions of gifting you a name. Well, if I could see him, I would be able to choose his name a little better. But he's a chonky boy that lives outside of a bakery. So I'm gonna call him Buttermilk. How do you feel about Buttermilk? I like when cats are named after nouns. I think that's fun. I think it suits you. Buttermilk meows. Show me Buttermilk. I'll take that as a vote in favor of my suggestion. But back to the issue at hand. Will Buttermilk enjoy the olives? After a brief struggle, I get the lid off the jar, the characteristic pop drawing Buttermilk's attention. Getting one out of the jar, I offer it to the cat. Buttermilk strokes its cheek against my hand. It flops onto its back, tapping at the olive with its paw. I bring the olive closer and it taps at it again, like a food critic inspecting a meal's qualities. Then with a smooth, slow motion, it takes the olive and eats the whole thing. I never would have believed cats could like these things, but Buttermilk just ate one. The cat sniffs around, scanning the air for more olives to devour. When it realizes that there's certainly more in this jar of mine, it pulls out every trick in the Hustler Cat's handbook. But I have a better idea. If it enjoys these things so much, why not make Buttermilk work for them? You gotta sing for your dinner, Buttermilk. Now what should I attempt to teach Buttermilk? High five, sit pretty, talk. I taught one of my cats how to high five. I taught him how to fist bump. I taught my cat how to fist bump, so I'm going to teach this cat how to high five. Buttermilk has already tapped my hand with its paw to get its snack, so I feel like the basics are there. I enclose the morsel in my hand and extend it. Buttermilk sniffs my hand and tries to reach it, but when it can't, it sits down and reaches out its paw. When it touches my hand, I reward the cat with its treat. That's how I trained my cat. Yeah, that's like pretty much exactly how I trained Cole to fist bump. Oreo, our other cat, he does not know how to do any tricks because unlike Cole, he is not motivated by food, so it is very hard to get him to do things. Anyways, I repeat the action, and Buttermilk, clearly at least almost as quick thinking as Spherical, he's round, catches on to the intricacies of tap my hand, get tasty food. However, whatever's worth doing is worth doing properly. High fives are no exception. I place another between my fingers, leaving my palm empty. Buttermilk still taps it, gets the prize, before waiting patiently whilst I reload with treats. This time, I try to say high five before extending my hand, then removing the bounty from sight. Buttermilk pats the hand again, gazing expectantly upon it, only to be surprised when my other hand is the rewarding it. We repeat this a number of times, and while I doubt that my voice command does much, as the cat most likely just takes the visual cue, I'm very proud of the results. I pet Buttermilk on the head, infusing my tone with an affectionate lilt as I praise the cat. However, there are other factors to consider, such as Buttermilk seemingly not lacking food, and that I might end up overfeeding the little fellow. A cuddle couldn't do any harm, though. Scratch his cheek. We're gonna scratch his little cheeks. Gotta rub the cheeks, man. Those puffy cheeks look fit for a good scratching. Using the tip of my finger, I gently scratch its cheek before moving to scratch it just behind the jaw. Buttermilk clearly approves, a humming purr radiating from a very pleased cat. It angles its head to give me better access, and the scratching continues for a few moments before it turns its head to the other side and the process is repeated. Buttermilk's purrs slowly grow more quiet until it drifts off into a nap, its head resting against my hand. Ever so carefully, I lower its head onto the bundle of the blanket bedding, succeeding in doing so without waking Buttermilk up. I realized that I had already spent more time with Buttermilk than I had intended, and I need to pick up that cake already. Hesitantly, I give Buttermilk a last pet on the head before saying my goodbyes and escaping into the bakery. It's bustling with more activity than usual. When the owner scurries by, I receive the great news. Business has been going well, and they were moving to a new, bigger place not too far away. But what will happen to Buttermilk? I congratulate her, apologize for not having much time to chat before taking my leave, cake in hand. I'm home. Unlike the usual silence, Ro calls for me. Emily, can you come over here for a minute? When had she last been the one to call out for me? That's something I haven't considered being a possibility in a very long time. I walk over to her room. Oh, it's clean. Yes, Roselle plays with her hands as if she is unsure of how to bring up the subject. Thank you for the photos, they were nice. However, yeah? That kitten. Was there anyone with it? No, it was alone, I think. Isn't that strange? For a kitten to be all alone, I mean, like, he had a collar, and if he's an indoor-outdoor boy, like, he's probably just exploring and his home is nearby, so it's not too weird. I mean, maybe in, like, a big metropolitan city like Paris, it would be weird. I guess, but I had a collar, so it might just live nearby. What I was saying, she doesn't look convinced. You know what? I'll see if I spot it on my walk and make sure. That would be great. Do you want to... Yeah, want to come with me to meet the kitty? I can see how she considers it, how her brows furrow and her eyes trace the crevices of the floorboards. It might get scared with yet another stranger around. Best you go alone. Scared of frightening it? That's not an excuse I've ever heard from Roselle, the great cat whisperer. Maybe this case is a little bit more delicate, but it's not like the kitten trusts me either. However, if she doesn't want to, I can't force her. I'll just do my best then. Wish me luck. Good luck. Empowered by her blessing, I head out. Just before leaving, I put the cake in the fridge and make my way to the old pedestrian street again. Do they microchip cats in Paris? Like they microchip their pets, right? So you just see if the cat has a chip. I'm surprised to see the kitten sitting next to the tree just like it had the other day. It feels a little strange to find such a young cat out here all alone again. I would like to have a closer look at its collar, but it might have a number or an address on it. The kitten is sitting next to the tree trunk looking at the passerby. It looks healthy, so somebody must be feeding it at least. I really hope that I'm just overthinking it. From our last meeting, I know I should be careful when I approach it. No sudden movements or sounds that will scare it. Having made my approach, I speak to it softly to get its attention. Pspsps. Hey little friend, we need a proper name for you too, don't we? I'm gonna name him Salami. Salami. That's how that's spelled, right? Salami. What do you think of that? The kitten glances at me with big eyes, which I decide to be in approval. This reminds that I still have cat treats in my pocket. Maybe Salami will like them. But I'm not the only one with eyes for the kitten. A kid separates from his mother's hand to chase the kitty. Don't chase cats. Salami runs away, but in my direction. I can't let it get away. Snatch that cat. Oh, he doesn't like that. I step out in a wide stance to quickly be able to react to the kitten's every movement. Salami blasts past my left. I had greatly underestimated its speed. I have to give chase to not lose sight of it. I end up running 2 blocks chasing after the kitten, being just fast enough to see it just as it finds a doorway to hide in. I stop, not wishing to scare it further. I'm not in that bad of a shape, but this kitten has me beat. I can't outrun a cat. I don't think most people can. They're fast little buggers. Anyways, I rest my hands on my thighs and try to catch my breath for a moment. I'll have to try and redeem myself as Salami is curled up in the corner looking rather shaken. Salami looks scared, and it should be. It was just pursued through half the neighborhood, but I feel that it is very important to try to contact its owner. What if it has run away from home? The street looks fairly clean, so I sit down, draw a deep breath, hoping that if I act calm, it'll calm down too. I'm sorry for scaring you, Salami. I speak softly to it, and then wait until I see the kitten calm down visibly. Throw a treat to it, close in on it. We're throwing food at cats. Well, there's no twigs to use for play, and even if there were, I'm not sure that that'd be a good idea. Maybe a bite to eat would help the little creature feel at ease. This situation isn't exactly what I'm used to, but I believe in the versatile powers of food. I crouch down and toss a treat carefully so it lands next to the kitten. It snaps its eyes on the new object and sniffs the air. When it's convinced it won't move again, it sneaks up on the treat and eats it. When finished, it sniffs around the ground for more. I throw another one and the projectile makes Salami shy away before quickly returning to eat the food. I throw the treats closer and closer to me so Salami can get within reach. However, Salami becomes aware of that and grows more careful approaching the treats, backing away when it has grabbed it. It's a slow process, but I get the kitten close enough. Try to feed it out of your hand. Don't grab the cat. We tried that earlier. It did not work. I slowly pick out a few treats and place them on my palm. I extend my hands slightly in front of me, making sure the kitten can see them. Salami looks at us but hesitates, so I throw one of them halfways between us. The kitten crouches down and sneaks up to the treat, carefully watching me. After snacking on the nearest treat, it looks curiously at my hand, stretching its head out. It takes a reluctant step towards me, and I have to stay completely still. Movementless like a statue, a gargoyle on Notre Dame. Or maybe not a gargoyle. They come to life, right? Y'all remember that show Gargoyles?
We are defenders of the night. We are gargoyles.
As Salami gets closer, it grows braver and walks up the last step to smell my hand. I feel its whiskers tickle my fingertips, but I stay still as the mountain. Salami takes the first treat, and I can clearly hear it snap as it bites into it. Yeah. One after another, the treats disappear until my hand is empty. I know Salami won't like it, but I still have to grab it to check out its collar. Aww, did you guys hear the little meow in the background? My hand eases closer and picks the kitten up. I quickly press it against my chest to stabilize it. Salami tenses up as soon as I touch it, but feels slightly calmer after a few seconds in my bosom. I don't like that word, I'm gonna be real. I don't like the word bosom that much. There you are, such a good kitty. I try to soothe the kitten and gently stroke it with my thumb. When it is calm, I place it on my lap to check the collar. Salami meows and I find a phone number that I write down on my phone. When that is done, I loosen my grip and stroke the kitten gently to make it forget my manhandling. Then I have to let go and Salami scurries away, but I don't think we're back to square one. I leave some treats on the ground in case it comes back and leave. Why would you not just call the number right then? Like why would you not just call the number and be like, yo, I found this cat, your number's on his collar. Is he yours? I have him. And then meet up and give them the cat. Why would you let the cat go? Anyways, as soon as I get home, I walk into Rose's room. I got a number. Salami had one on its collar. Oh, and I followed your rule. I named it. I also forgot to mention that I named the bakery cat as well. It's Buttermilk. What are you waiting for? Call it. Yeah, why didn't you call it already? I type in the number and let the signals go by. They go on for longer and longer. No answer? Doesn't appear so. I'll have to try again later. Well, keep me updated. I will. And now we go to work. I try to call a few more times. Eventually I give up and head out for work. Well, are you leaving a voicemail? I'm questioning the problem-solving skills of this character. There are slow news days and then there's dead news days. As someone who is majoring in journalism, that is not true. There is always something to report on. So that's not a true statement. Maybe unless she's working at a super niche news organization that only reports on I don't know, underwater basket weaving competitions, then yeah, you're gonna have some slow days and dead days, but if it's just a normal paper, you're always gonna have something to work on, girl. Okay. I need to get something published today or my boss will get on my case. Might as well have a stroll and see if I can at least find something worth writing about. The city, beautifully lit in the dark as I find my way down to the towpath, is probably one of the prettiest spots around here. Another advantage it has going for it is the fact that for some arcane reason, almost nobody ever goes there, rendering it a quiet place for thoughts to be had. Hark, the sound of a cat fight. Hang on a moment, what's that sound? My pondering is interrupted by aggressive growling and a tremendous noise near the bridge. My curiosity is getting the better of me, and I silently walk over to check the source of the racket. In the glow of the lamplight, there's a group of cats staring at each other, hissing and swatting their paws. Cat fight! 4 of them seem to be working together against a somewhat larger, rougher-looking one. Could it be the same one from the other day? It looks like it, and it appears to be in trouble. Let them resolve it among themselves. Try to interrupt the fight. Pour water on them. I don't know. I guess let the cats take care of it? They can handle themselves, they're cats. To interfere is a sure way to get all kinds of debilitating diseases. Okay. I hang back and wait for the confrontation to resolve itself. I don't know if there are that many, diseases that are transmittable between, cats and people. I was thinking more if you get scratched by a stray cat, and like it's got gunk in its claws, or like you get gunk in the wound, you're gonna get an infection. I hang back and wait for the confrontation to resolve itself. They fly at each other in a blurred frenzy of claws and bites, but a few moments later the upstarts rout and flee, leaving a lone cat torn but triumphant. Satisfied that it has indeed won the field, it huffs, weary but proud in posture. I sneak closer, but it doesn't look like the cat needs or wants my help. It sits down, tending to its wounds and giving itself time to rest and recover. This cat can clearly manage on its lonesome. Roselle could certainly learn a thing or two from this fellow. The shade. Another certainty is that every great brawler ought to have a nickname of some sort to go along with their reputation. I kind of want to name him Street Shark, like that show. You guys remember Street Sharks? So I'm gonna name him Sharky. Yeah, that's how you spell Sharky. Right, Sharky. Clearly you run this town. Sharky starts walking, and I follow along at a comfortable distance. We follow the canal, a part of the city I'm very familiar with. I glance at the cat, who has some minor cuts, and the fur is even more of a mess than usual, but it doesn't seem to bother it at all. What bothers me, though, is the extensive littering for one, and the fact that I have no idea what this cat eats, come to think about it. Clean up garbage, offer food. Offer the cat some food, clean up the garbage. A soda can distracts me from the cat. The canal is beautiful. How can people just go around littering like it's a thing to do? Because people are assholes, ma'am. There's even a garbage bin right there. I put the can in my bag to recycle it later, and the other things I find go in the bin. Sharky tracks me with its gaze as I clean up the place. It doesn't take long until it looks decent again. Sharky stands up and sits down next to a piece of paper I had missed. Oh, thank you. I walk up to the cat and grab the paper without really thinking about it, but we were for a moment so close we nearly touched. The intimacy. That gives me an idea. What's the worst thing that could happen? Sure, it's a grumpy cat, but it's not like stepping on a landmine, at least, right? Offer food, touch the cat, play with the paper, crumble. Yeah, let's have some fun, Sharky. Well, I've got the paper. It could make for a decent improvised cat toy. Crumpling it in my hand, I flick it about, trying to entice playfulness from the rather grumpy cat. It is indeed rather grumpy, but seemingly somewhat amused by my efforts, batting it with a lazy paw. The interest wanes fairly quickly as Sharky stops paying it any heed. Getting the idea, I put the paper away. While certainly not the smoothest of friendships, I get the feeling that Sharky is at least somewhat less indifferent towards me. Sharky and I would have to part ways for now, but I'm looking forward to meeting him again. Once back at work, inspiration hits me. I could always write a little piece about the issue of abandoned cats around the city. After all, I never noticed before, so bringing it to light might result in some good. We're going to interview some local humane societies, some local shelters. We're going to talk to cat owners. We're going to see if there's a rescue. We're going to find some statistics. We're going to report on cats. Returning home in the morning, I'm met with a surprise. I look through my pockets for my keys, only to find none. I must have dropped them somewhere. With resignation, I knock steadily on the door. A short while later, Roselle opens it with a surprised look on her face. She looks tired. I'm not sure if I woke her up or not, however. I drop my keys. Oh. I'll have to go looking for them after I've had time to sleep. Are you going anywhere? No, not really. With that, we separate into our respective rooms. Girl, like, no shade, but like, do you ever leave the house? This game doesn't take place during quarantine. You are in Paris. I just smacked my wire. You are in Paris. I would kill to be living in Paris right now and not under house quarantine because of a pandemic. Like, no shade. We're going to sleep. Wait, also, like, doesn't she have class? Is she not going to class? Or is she just, like, independent studying her whole degree? I go to the bakery during the afternoon this time around, as the bakery won't be open in the weekend due to the move. So this will be the last time I go to this alley. During the walk, I'm sure to keep my eyes peeled in case I drop my keys here, but I'm fairly sure I didn't. I enter the bakery and I'm almost feeling a little nostalgic as I look around. It won't change my routines that much to go to the new place, but I'm a little bit worried about buttermilk. I ask the owner about it when she hands me my bread. Will you bring the cat along with you to your new place? The owner gently shakes her head. There's no good place for her to stay at the bakery and we can't let it inside. Isn't there anyone that can take it home then? We have tried that, but it got really angry and anxious when we tried to carry it away. It really likes it with us, but when push comes to shove, we'll have no choice but to force it to. I'm sure it'll work out somehow. Have you seen a pair of keys, by the way? I've dropped them somewhere. I haven't, but I'm sure to be on the lookout. The owner smiles reassuringly and continues on with work. I would have done a French accent, but I did not want to offend the entire country of France. I leave the bakery feeling ill at ease. I walk up to Buttermilk and I notice that it looks a little bit uneasy, but cheers up some when it sees me. The cat must know that something's going on. I should at least try to comfort it some before I go. We're gonna gently pet the cat. Cuddles are the best cure for anxiety. I sit down next to its little bed and reach out my hand and caress its head. Buttermilk closes its eyes, purring, and we sit like that for a while. We can't leave Buttermilk without anyone caring for it. It feels weird to think of the cat being anywhere else but here in the back alley. This is its home. I keep a close eye on the cat. It's looking much happier after some cuddling. A thought starts to play in my mind. What if I could take Buttermilk home with me? I mean, you could, but he belongs to the streets. Buttermilk seems like a cat that would like most people. Sure, that might be a presumption, but I feel like we have a little bit of a special bond. Girl, the people inside the bakery, which, no disrespect, have known Buttermilk a lot longer than you have, said that, anytime they try to move him, he freaks out. He lives there. I've gotten better with cats, I think, and I know Roselle owned cats in the past, so we would be able to care for it. Does your apartment lease allow you to have cats? Because, mine doesn't. Our apartment is big enough and my income isn't too bad. It could be doable. No, it's entirely doable. Let's try it out. It will depend on if Buttermilk likes me or the bakery more entirely. Buttermilk inches closer to my hand and snuggles close to it. I stroke it gently with my free hand. Call bluff. We're just gonna keep petting the boy. I roll up my sleeves and crack my knuckles, a quiet joke to myself. The charm blitz is on and there's no escaping it. I'll make Buttermilk a happy, not-so-little cat. I begin by scratching behind the cheeks. I run my fingers through the thick fur and give it a scratch from the ears to the chin. I move my hands down the chest and neck, digging into the fluffy chest hair. When I scratch the fur over the shoulders, I notice its front paws claw the quilt under it in comfort. The cat rolls over, exposing its tummy, and I give Buttermilk a proper belly rub. Buttermilk must feel spoiled to bits after that. The cat remains on its back, eyes closed, but then gives me a glance. The look seems to say, "Oh, you finished already? Weren't you supposed to be feeling bad?" Buttermilk chases after my hand, demanding to receive more pets, even though I've been at it for minutes already. When I don't immediately comply, it looks at me with those puppy eyes. With those kitty eyes, ma'am. Buttermilk certainly wants to keep me around, but is that enough for it to be willing to follow me home? I'd like to give the cat a little test to see. Let's walk away and call for Buttermilk to follow. Would Buttermilk voluntarily follow me out of this alley if I just called for it? Could hardly hurt to try. I give the cat a last pet on its head and then walk away, not stopping before I reach the next street. Not that far of a distance really, but it can be for a small cat. I make eye contact with Buttermilk that eyes me curiously. Without breaking it, I crouch down and reach out my hand. Come here, Buttermilk. I click my tongue and the cat's ears respond, honing in on the sound. I call again, and after some hesitation, it makes its way down from its bed. It trots lazily over to me, swaying with every step. I offer my hand for pets, and before accepting it, Buttermilk glares at me, resentful of me for making it walk all the way over here. But still, it did it, and I'm very proud of it. I snuggle it properly, and then comes the real test. I place my hands around Buttermilk's body and pick up the cat. Gosh, it's heavy. I shuffle it around so I have a good hold around it, and the cat strokes its face against mine. Seems like buttermilk passed the test, or maybe it was I that did. I'll have to tell the owners and the bakers that I'll take buttermilk with me. No shade, but I kind of feel like buttermilk should go with the bakers. Also, like, call your roommate and check that it's okay to, like, bring a cat home? I hesitate at the door, but I don't want to drop the cat now, so I walk in with it in my arms. You can't bring pets into eateries, ma'am. The owners will have to excuse me, but it's a special occasion. The owner's eyes open in surprise when she sees us. Well, would you look at that? It seems like our little charmer has been charmed itself. It seems like it doesn't mind coming with me, if that's fine with you guys. Of course. We couldn't be happier that it found a proper home. And knowing it's you makes it feel even better. Does Roselle know about this? No, I'm hoping she wouldn't mind. Maybe shoot her a text, girl. Like, not to be a wet blanket, but if I had a roommate who just like, who I'm clearly not on good terms with to begin with, like clearly there is something between Roselle and the character I'm playing as. And then like, they just showed up with a cat, which like, I don't know, I'd be kind of pissed. Like, I love cats, but I would still be pissed if that happened. The owner lets out a huge laugh. I can't imagine she ever would. Say hello from me. I will, and I will keep you all updated on buttermilk. That's what I call it, by the way. Buttermilk? It's a suiting name. Buttermilk and I bid our I'm sorry, I really named the cat Buttermilk. Buttermilk and I bid our farewell to the old bakery and the alley. Are you gonna bring his little blanket with him? His little cardboard box? He's not gonna have any of the comforts of his previous home. I never found my keys, so they must be down by the canal. First, however, I must break the news to Roselle. Yeah, message her beforehand, girl. Yeah, I want to give her a heart attack, so I message her. You know that the bakers are moving out, they were looking for someone to take buttermilk, and I might have agreed to it. I'm coming home with it right now. I check the phone a few times, and finally it gets marked as read. No reply. The door home is unlocked, and I kick off my shoes before heading for Roselle's room. I reach for the handle, but am beaten to it as Roselle opens the door for me, letting me in. How is buttermilk? Fine, I think. Didn't complain at all the entire way here. You didn't reply, so I didn't know yet. Is it fine with you to let buttermilk live with us? Of course. Okay, girl, like, maybe text that back. I know that the whole time, like, if I had been in this situation and had the stupid thought of, like, I'll just bring the stray cat home with me and not check with my roommate in advance, and then I said, hey, I'm doing this thing, I'm bringing the stray cat home, and they left me on red, the heart attack I would be having the whole walk home carrying this cat. Like, oh my god, you should have said yes. You should have texted yes, girl. But we'll have to get a few things. Yeah, I was thinking of heading out to grab the necessities now. You'll need to buy diet food, a litter box, unscented litter. You know what? I can write you a list. No shade, or like, you could go get the stuff for the cat. But I do also understand, because she's like, it's not my cat, I didn't bring it in. Also diet food, like, you fat shaming the cat? That would be great. Could you help Buttermilk make could you help Buttermilk make itself at home, and I'll go get it now. Sure. I hand her the cat and she burrows her face in its fur, taking in the moment. Buttermilk looks quite comfortable too. They probably want some time to themselves, so I head out. After a few minutes, I receive a very long list of things I'll have to find. I manage to find nearly all of them and drop them off at home before heading down to the canal to look for my keys. I can't stay without them for much longer. As I get to the towpath, it's already becoming dark. I'm placing my hopes on that the setting sun will hit the keys just right and make them shine up. I keep my eyes peeled on the ground, making my way back to my workplace along the canal. A hunch makes me look back, and surely I spot Sharky following me with silent steps. Does Sharky have my keys? Is he gonna come trotting up with my keys in his mouth? I wonder for how long it has been doing that. Or why? 'Cause he likes you, girl. Possibly to keep an eye on anyone in its turf. The cat keeps stalking me a slight distance, and I ignore it the best I can. My keys are top priority right now. I walk the entire towpath without spotting them. I guess I'll walk back, check some of the busier areas more carefully. I spot that Sharky has stopped following me and is playing with something next to the edge of the canal. Good that it's keeping itself entertained. Yeah, is Sharky playing with my keys? I do love the idea of Sharky batting the keys around and knocking them into the canal. I think that would be very funny. I'm a bit curious to what would interest Sharky. If my keys can wait this long, they can wait a little longer. The cat is sitting right next to the water and is poking at something casually, almost like it doesn't want to admit that it's playing. When I get closer, I get a better look at the object. Wait, those are my keys Sharky is playing with. Is he gonna bat them in the canal? I can't believe the cat managed to find them. I don't have the time to take a sigh of relief before the cat pokes the keys so they inch closer to their watery doom. I called it. I must do something quick to prevent a catastrophe from happening. We're gonna do a Jurassic Park. We're gonna Chris Pratt with the Velociraptor and like get closer. Does that make sense? Does that joke even land? Props not. I reach out my hand in front of me, trying to mentally keep the cat still. I hunch slightly and walk closer slowly, careful not to agitate the cat. It looks at me momentarily before losing interest and looks down at the keys again. Now there, Sharky, let's not be hasty. This is a hostage situation. I watch as a paw closes in on the bundle. Sharky! I leap forward, but it's too late. I watch the keys tumble over the edge and hear the splash echo in my head. Dive for the keys. Maybe you can, like, grab them. Without a moment's hesitation, I throw my bag with valuables to the side and run for the water. I pass Sharky and jump feet first. Oh, I didn't think she was gonna, like, jump into the canal. I thought that she was just gonna, like, plunge hand into water. The cold water hits me and I swim up to the surface to orientate me. The water is completely black. How can I possibly find my keys in this? My hand hits something sharp and I recoil. I take a look at what it can be and it's my keys. I keep myself afloat, dumbfounded for a moment before I grab them. Oh right, I have a cork as my keychain. I must call my mom and thank her for this gift when I get home. Okay. But corks are only buoyant to a certain point. So, like, if the mass of the keys on this keychain is enough, it doesn't really matter that there's a cork attached. It would still pull them underwater? How big is this cork? Or, like, does she only have, like, one key on it? I pull myself up the edge and am met with a scornful face of the cat. It would appear some water had splashed on it when I jumped in. Well, like, no disrespect, Sharky, but that's what you get for throwing my keys in a canal. Oops, well, it's the comeuppance for pushing the keys in to begin with. There we go. I apologize and squeeze some water out of the hem of my shirt. If Sharky is slightly damp, I'm literally drenched here. We're just gonna sit by Sharky. I can't really go home like this, and the summer evening is warm. I remove my shoes and empty them in the canal before putting them to dry next to me. I squeeze out the water the best I can from my clothes, and then I wait. Sharky joins me by licking itself dry. Maybe it isn't that mad at me since it sticks around. I guess I might forgive it too then. It takes time, but eventually my things are dry enough that I feel comfortable going home. Thank you for the company. I've said my goodbyes, so I start to head home. Bye, Sharky. Did she ever try calling the number on that cat caller again? I walk down the very familiar towpath. I wonder how Roselle is doing at home. After a while, I recognize faint footsteps behind me and turn around to see that Sharky is still following me. Oh, Sharky, you want a forever home? I shrug, thinking it will stop eventually, but as I leave the towpath, it's still following me. You coming with me, huh? Sharky responds by following along all the way to my door. This is my stop. Sharky has stopped and is looking at me, waiting. Having said goodbye, I open the door, only for Sharky to waltz in like it owns the place. The cat looks around and jumps up on the sofa to get a better look at things. Ro, we have a visitor. It takes Roselle a moment to make it to the door, and when she steps out, she has Buttermilk in tow. She freezes as she spots Sharky and turns around to shove Buttermilk back in her room and close the door. What's going on? Not sure, but it decided to follow me home. Why did you lock Buttermilk away? We can't just throw two cats who don't know each other together and expect things to go well. That's like kind of what we did with our cats, but they were in the same, like, cage at the Humane Society. They're brothers from another mother. so they're homies. There's a process for these things, you know? Can't say I do know. How does it work? You have to gradually introduce them to each other. At first, they'll just have to meet through my door so they have a chance to get used to the other's presence. So Sharky can stay? If it wants to, I won't be the one to kick it out. We'll need another bowl though, and Sharky should probably have some richer food. I'll get that tomorrow then. I notice how her attention shifts towards the sofa and how her eyes slowly set on Sharky. The cat eyes the new human with suspicion, but I know Roselle can get the barrier down in no time. I don't want to disturb her work, so I leave her to it. I'll buy the things before my walk tomorrow. Her roommate is like very chill about her bringing in all these cats. Do they not have like pet deposits in France? Like, do you not have to pay deposits to your landlord if you have pets in your apartment? They probably live in just like a 2-bedroom apartment, and they've introduced 2 cats, and I assume we're about to introduce a 3rd. That's a lot of cats in a very small space. I've bought the new things and I'm heading out for my Sunday stroll. By the look of it this morning, Sharky and Roselle are getting along well, so I'm not the slightest bit worried over leaving them alone. As I near the pedestrian street, I peel my eyes trying to spot a certain kitten. I'll most likely find it in its usual spot, but I don't trust it not to have moved. I see the tree in the distance and it grows closer as I walk. There's no kitten to be seen. I reach the corner and circle around the tree, but I can't see Salami. Maybe it actually got home. If that were the case, it would be great. A meow crushes my hopes, and I look around, still not spotting it. The next meow I can tell comes from above, and I look up. Salami's in a tree. Salami looks down at me from a high up branch in the tree. What's it doing up there? Just vibing. Straight vibes from Salami. It doesn't look very safe. I haven't climbed a tree in ages, but I did it some back in the day. Except for the first part, it looks like a pretty easy climb. Yeah, just see if you can get like Salami to jump down to you. It isn't certain that Salami really is stuck, and it would be a shame to do anything risky if it wasn't necessary. I'll try and see if it will come down on its own first. I stand next to the trunk and call to the kitten. Pspsps. Salami meows back, and I see it moving its paws slightly, but not moving away from its spot high up in the tree. After trying some more and giving the kitten some time, I figure it must actually be stuck. It's possible that it's just too scared of the people to come down, but when is Paris ever empty? I have to do something, it needs my help. Find something to climb on, climb up using raw power, call an arborist to get it down. We're gonna climb up using raw power. Oh, Salami didn't like that. I walk up looking at the tree fork. It is really high up. With a small jump, I manage to grab the lower branch. I struggle up, kicking at the trunk. I grunt as I try to pull myself up with quite some effort, and in no way gracefully, I make it to the first fork. I've made it. How tall? How tall are these trees? I mean, pretty tall, I guess, if you can climb them. I assumed it was just like a pear tree or something. I look up at the kitten. Am I imagining things, or is it even further up now? Maybe I should have been more careful. Looks like I scared it. Climb up really slowly. I really can't afford scaring it any further up the tree. Salami is already out on very thin twigs. With all of its claws, it's sticking to the wood, and I don't want to let it go of the grip. And I don't want it to let go of that grip before I can catch it. I slowly move to the next foothold and then pause there until Salami stops watching me. Then I advance to the next spot. It's very slowly going and my arms feel a bit tired, but eventually I reach the same height that Salami's at. The kitten, however, is just slightly too far away. I might be able to lean out to grab it or possibly lure it closer. Coax it with food, reach for it. We're gonna pspsps. Pspsps. Here, kitty, kitty. I tap where I want Salami to go as I call out to it. The kitten watches me with big eyes and its ear twitches like it's being indecisive. In the end, it doesn't move. I continue to tap and call out to it again. Come here, kitty, let's get you down from here. Salami looks away and then back, and I see one of its paws twitch. I tap more rapidly and the kitten inches forward a little. Could you imagine you're walking down the street in Paris or wherever, I guess this isn't Paris specific, but you're walking down the street and you pass this tree and you see a whole ass person up in this tree on a presumably somewhat busy street trying to coax a cat over. Like, what do you even do? Do you just keep walking at that point? Do you try to help? I don't know. Come on, Salami, you can do it. Slowly it crawls closer and I continue to encourage it. After more coaxing, it's finally close enough to reach. I make sure I have a steady seat on my branch before reaching out with both hands to grab Salami. It meows, clearly upset, and struggles against my grip. I refuse to let go and secure it in my lap. I can't climb down with a vicious cat in my hands, so I reach for my bag and gently tuck it in there. We're kidnapping this cat. We're catnapping. Salami will be much safer in there despite its whining cries. With my bag on my back again, I begin to climb down. I face no further ordeals and the climb to the ground goes swiftly. Now let's get Salami out of the bag. Let's let the cat out of the bag. With the most care in the world, I place the bag on the ground and open it up. Salami runs off. Before I can react, Salami sprints away and disappears into the distance. I try to chase after it, but give up after a few steps, realizing that it's futile. However, I can't just let it go this time. I haven't been able to reach any owner or seen any signs of this kitten having a home to return to. People must have given it food, but that doesn't change that it shouldn't be living on the street. I grab my phone and look up animal shelters in the immediate area. I found one that seems nice, a no-kill shelter with good reviews, and I make a call. I reach one of their employees who's willing to try and catch the kitten the same day. I sit down on a bench to wait. We decide to place the trap next to the tree since it's likely Salami will come back when there is less people there. The tree seems to be what it calls home. We wait for hours at a distance before we see Salami return. Is that like a real job? Like the cat catcher? Is that a real career that you can have? The scent of food makes it enter the trap rather quickly, being safely caught. I have to assume that Salami is not the only stray cat in this area of Paris. Like, what would they have done if like other stray cats had come to try and get the food out of the trap? They just end up like trapping all of the cats in this like 1 block area of Paris, and like Salami still doesn't show up. I make sure Salami is in good hands and leave it to the shelter to take care of it. Okay, so like you bring home these other 2 stray cats, but like 3 stray cats is too many. If anything, I think that that's like smart, you know, 2 cats, that's 1 cat per roommate, a 3rd kitten, you know, too many cooks in the kitchen perhaps. Goodbye, Salami. I hope you find a great home. I wave goodbye and watch it get carried away. I stay for a little while before walking home. Oh look, now we got like a cat tower and like a scratching post. These kitties living the high life. I'm home. I find Sharky up on its high ground, keeping its eyes on its surroundings. Roselle's door stands shut, but I'm sure I'll find both Ro and Buttermilk in there. Like, Buttermilk was there first, but he gets, like, relegated, is that the right word? Shoved off to, like, 1 room, and Sharky just gets free range of the whole apartment, even though Buttermilk was there first. I pet Sharky gently, and the cat seems to enjoy it. It looks to me like it has decided to be a domestic cat, more or less. Anyway, now that it's getting older. Cats domesticate themselves, you know? It's what they do. I slip inside Ro's room and I find her writing away with Buttermilk in her lap. She stops as she notices me. How did it go? Did you see Salami? I did. Somebody had scared it up in a tree, however. Oh no, poor thing. Has it gotten down yet? Yes, it has. It's also on its way to a good animal shelter for care. I couldn't leave it out there again. Well, that's a relief. She hugs the cat on her lap. What are you writing? Oh, you know, just some school stuff. How about I leave you to that and go fix us some food? That would be great, thank you. Sometime later. Oh, we get a little time jump. Aw, look at, oh my god, we've never seen a full body picture of Buttermilk, I don't think. He is a chonky boy, bless his heart. I wasn't sure if Sharky and Buttermilk would get along, but it would appear my worries had been for naught. We followed Ro's step to introduce the cats to each other, and it worked somehow. It wasn't easy to sell the idea of sharing the house to Sharky, but Buttermilk won it over like it did to everyone else. Every time they pass each other by, they butt heads, which is something Rose says is affection. I walked up to her door, knocking before entering. Hey Emily, what's up? Not much. Ro, how was the lecture? It was alright, I suppose. Interesting content, but a bad presenter. Well, ain't that university in a nutshell? She and I both chuckle. Oh yeah, it sure is. That and overpriced course literature. Yeah, that's accurate. Actually, I'm done with the book I have to read. Why don't we go out and grab an ice cream or something? I'd absolutely love to. And since you have worked so hard, it will be my treat. Thanks. It feels good to have caught up again. We head out carefully through the door so Buttermilk doesn't slip out with us. That cat likes to accompany us a little too much at times. We decide to go to a cafe quite far away from home, and for the entire walk we share laughs and jokes like the good old times. Aw, their friendship was reconnected through the power of cat ownership. Cateau, is that the end? Oh, laptop, what are you doing? It's just lagging a little bit. Oh, okay. Let's play the credits, because you gotta let the credits roll. You gotta show appreciation for the people that made this game. But I guess it won't. I tried. So that was Cateau. Sorry, this video is a little longer than usual, but I did want to get the entire gameplay done in one because, you know, it's a short little cute game. I really liked that. It was cute. It was free. You know, I like little storytelling visual novel games, so that was cute. Shout out Buttermilk and Sharky. Let's look at the gallery. So it has these 3 pictures. So what I can assume is that depending on like what choices you make on how to approach the cats, you probably get different pictures. So maybe in the future we could play through and try to unlock all of them, or just be satisfied with the pictures we have. Yeah, that was Cateau. It was a little lighthearted, fun game. The moral of the story is adopt, don't buy, I guess. That's my moral of the story. Support your local shelters. Yeah, that was cute. Big fan of cats, big fan of cat game. All right, that's it.